Hello, everyone, from me and from Chance. The lovely, melodious voices of a certain Siamese. You want to come up here and say hello to the world? Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Nanette. The melodious tones of a Siamese. Hey, Miss Allie. Hi, Laura. Hi, Sheila. The melodious tones of a certain Siamese. What do you have to say? Am I getting your cat cam all fixed for you so you can admire yourself? So you can admire yourself. And the world can give you all kinds of props. Yeah. So the world can give you all kinds of props and tell you how beautiful you are. And really, you're just a royal pain in the... Hello, Christy. Hi, Angie. Hi, Linda. Hi, Jean. Hello, Barbara. Hi, Debbie. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, he would not allow me to catch him. That's why he's here, because he wouldn't let me catch him. Apparently, he was determined he was going to be here with you guys for a little bit. So he's just purring and being a royal pain. Hi, Becky. Hey, Mindy. Hi, Robin. Hi, Dana. It's warm and beautiful in South Carolina. That's great. It is a little muggy here. A little muggy. Where's Linda McAllister? Where's Linda McAllister? She's supposed to be here to keep that mouse off my face. Pardon the interruption of me opening the cup, but I didn't have another place to open it. Hi, Noe. Hi, Linda. Oh, he thinks he's adorable. Do any of you guys watch or follow the Golden Ratio 4 on social media, on YouTube and so forth? They have currently, they rescue golden retrievers. Hi, Tanya. I think it's Tanya. If I didn't say your name right, feel free to correct me. Feel free. They rescue golden retrievers, and most of the time they take older golden retrievers with medical issues, and sometimes they don't have them very long. Sometimes they have them for quite a while. Anyway, they rescued one, and I may have talked about this last week, but I've slept since then, so there you go. Tanya? Okay. And I digress for a minute. My husband had a daughter. She died many, many years ago. But her name was Tanya, and it was spelled Tonia. So anytime I see it spelled differently than that, I'm like, it always throws me. So anyway, enough of that. So anyhow, the latest dog that the Golden Ratio people, you're drooling on me again. You rotten thing, you're drooling on me. And you just slung cat spit on my mat. Thank you very much. Let's wipe your face. Anyway, they just rescued a dog just a couple weeks ago. And he is... Get up there so they can see your face. Get over there so they can see you. Anyway, they call him St. Patrick. And he is a golden and something else. They say golden doodle. That's what they were sold him as. Well, sold, not as in money, but... Anyway, St. Patrick likes to look at himself in the mirror. Yeah, so does this thing. And so they finally just got him his own mirror. So he he spends a lot of time looking at himself inside the mirror. So funny. He does need a bib. Yes, he does. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Thunder. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Marilyn. Anyway, so he's a crazy one, this one. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated at the moment, so we're going to breathe and have a little sip. I don't think I have this on the right camera. Here we go. That's the one I meant to have so you can really see him. You're going to just like chill out now. He is so big he takes up the whole table. You want to see how much table he takes up? Look how much table he takes up. You guys know that my mat is 24 by 18. So it's 24 length, 18 width. He takes up the whole thing. Take up the whole thing. Yeah, so how are you guys doing? Hi, Nancy Dale. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Nancy Lore. How are you guys doing? Yeah, I got to get some more Bengal spice too. I hope I can find it locally. If not, I'm going to have to order it. It's considerably less expensive to order it from Amazon, and it's a lot more convenient. It's so nice to just walk in a store and get it. I can't always get it. Hi, Shu. Chunkster, that is putting it mildly. Nancy's doing okay? Good. Yeah, look at the width of this thing. The width. I have to show you a picture. I took a picture of him the other day. We were sitting on the deck. See if I can find my pictures here. We were sitting on the deck and he crawled up on my husband's lap. That's the same cat. You see how wide? He is a wide body. He is a wide body. Siamese cats are not supposed to look like this. No, they're not. I still got the wrong shot. Still got the wrong shot. Sorry. Oh, you'd think I'd know my cameras, wouldn't you? Yeah, he couldn't even fit. Could not even fit. Yeah, I know. Wide lotus. He is broad. Dana says he's broad in the beam. That is true. That is true. Becky, do you have any? Yeah, Becky says, oh, just a little wave. Hi, Gina. Becky, do you have any cats that are this big? Oh, you're Bentley. Gina, I don't feel so bad then. She says her Bentley cat is an orange marmalade that looks that broad too. What's a marmalade? What's orange marmalade? Is that just the color? The color of orange marmalade? Oh, that's so nice, Debbie. That's so nice. Howie's big? Okay, I don't feel so bad then. All right, I'm going to put him away. Will you leave me alone now? I'm about to have as much cat spit on me as I can tolerate. Yuck. Okay? Yuck. All right, say goodbye. Say goodbye to the world because you're going bye-bye. Come on. Come on. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Gracie. All right, go curl up in the window with your friend. Oh, goodness. That is a lot of cat. That is a lot of cat. Put the cat cam away. Yeah, we can put the cat cam away now. Ah, mercy. What a cat. What a cat. So how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Hi, Kimberly. I'm so glad you could join us, too. It's like a tabby shading, but orange. Huh. Interesting. I had never heard of an orange. I mean, I've never heard of that phrase. My, one year when my dad, for his 87th birthday, we decided to give him a kitten because they were driving me a little crazy. Any of you that have had elderly parents know exactly what I speak of when I say your parents can drive you a little crazy. I have to be very careful because I could be approaching that sooner rather than later. Anyway, if Race was here, he'd be chiming in and agreeing with that statement and giving you a whole ear load of but hopefully he's not here. Anyway, so anyway, we were going to give my dad a kitten to distract him. So we did. We got him a little kitten. It was like, she's like this big. She's 10 weeks old. She had a broken tail. And so you'd run your hand down the tail, and on a cat, you should run your hand so all the way to the end of the tail, and you should just glide gently off the tip of the tail. Hers went glide, 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 so she had a definite crook at the end of her tail. And my dad he would say frequently, I don't know what's wrong with her tail. And it's like, Dad, it was broken when she was a kitten, it healed that way. Till the next time, and then he'd say it again. I'm like, oh. It's like, really? Oh, anyhow. So Dorothy's watching me. That's good. All right. So what are we going to do today? Got kind of a rough start here this morning. Not rough, just unexpected. Hi, Tori. So let's look at what we did last week. And I finished it up. I think it's finished. We'll find out. Actually, no journal page is ever finished for me. You know what I mean? Hi, Tori. No journal page is ever really finished for me. Because I may come back in and work on it, before you know it. Anyway, this is how it turned out. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So it just wasn't feeling like it was going where I wanted it to go. Hi, Gail. Wasn't going where I thought I wanted it to go at the end of the stream last week, so I just let it sit for a little while. And then I thought, if the key to life is balance, then what are all the things that I'm trying to balance, right? And so I just made a big list, and I had an extra copy of my elephant, and so I just used a gel pen and I just started writing down in different fonts and stuff, the different things, different words, hi Elaine, the different things. And I apologize for the air conditioner making a racket, but it is just too warm in here not to have it on. So we'll have to put up with the air conditioner noise. Anyway, so that was what I did. I just played around with it, and then I just translated it into black and white, and added some white lines around the letters and so forth. And then down here I wrote something, I don't know what. I have no idea what I wrote, but it was something that was appropriate for balance and my life. But that is a good way to journal on your page if you don't want anybody to read it. Just use scribble writing, and that's always good. I'm glad. Hi, Mama. I'm glad you can't hear over your AC, so that's good. Yeah. Oh, I know. I've had a couple people have commented about roaring in the background. It's like, man, if you were here and it was as hot in your space as it is in mine sometimes, you'd put up with it. So anyway, I did some shadowing around the elephant with a Pitt artist pen in dark gray, just to pop it up off the surface a little bit. I put the word on here, kind of cockeyed, like it was going up off the page, the word balance. And so that's where I chose to sign it, so I could kind of bring that down a little bit. And then around the edge of this is, it's just, let's see if I can show you. I just used a pen, and I just wrote the key to life is balance, with some stretched out wonky lines in between the words. And I did that all the way around for the border, so that way you can see. Over here on this side is from one of my cards, the Mandala Madness cards. So it's from this deck. He chose, pulled out the word balance, because I knew that that was one of our words. I peeled the card apart, which I do all the time. So I just peeled the card apart, because that way, first of all, it thins down the paper, but it also lets me get double duty out of the cards, so I can use the back and the front. And so that's what I did. I just peeled it off, tore out the word balance and the definition, glued it down, and then did that border that we did in Beyond Mandala Madness, one of the mandalas, one of those classes. I'm sure it's not the right way to do it according to the Zentangle, the bonafide Zentangle pattern, but it turned out to be okay. And then I just inked around the edge. So that's kind of what I've done with most of these. This one, our old friend Picasso, a couple of these I haven't done that with, but like going back a few pages, that's what I've done. This is the main page, and then this is just kind of a, I don't want to say throwaway, but it's like I'm not investing the same amount of time in the facing page as I am in the the main page. So I'm doing a little bit of something usually. But anyway, so that's what I did. Yeah, the border idea, that actually came from, there is a, I don't see her online much anymore, but a girl, and she went by, got paint in my hair. I think her name, I think that's what she went by. It was either, I never could remember if it was got paint in my hair or got paint in her hair. But anyway, her name was Claire. Claire? God, it's been too long. Somebody here will probably remember. I think it's Claire, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, she did that. She was the first person I saw do that in her art journaling pages. And I thought, that is such a good idea. That is such a good idea for a border. And she was very good at it. I kind of struggle with it. It's not a real natural thing for me. I'm much better with just lines and designs and stuff. But it's a good idea. If you're stuck and you can't figure out what to do for a border, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. You love my mandalas? Good. Hi, Mina. So anyway, did I miss anything? Yeah, exactly. Get rid of the crap. I do that, sometimes it's a good thing to actually make a list. It can be exhausting, but it's a good thing sometimes to just make a list of all the things that you're responsible for, or that, the various facets of your life, and write them down, look at them, and you can see the ones that are in big, bold letters are the ones that are really big ones for me. I'm always working at getting more sleep, which I'm not very good at. But work, home, family, sleep, focus, classes, studying, those are all kind of my big ones. And if you look really closely, you can still see the pencil in the background, but that's it. And then down at the bottom where the ball is, it says, remember what's important. Long time ago, I was taught the lesson of the difference between the urgent and the important. And we let the urgent crowd out that which is important. So I always try to include this in my journals someplace. So it reminds me to keep the balance of, keep the perspective of important versus urgent. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Barbara says she had one of those sleepless nights once and got up and made a page with all of that on it. Her sleep and her eyes and the top of her head are peeping out in the edge of the page. Oh, that's cool. That's a really good idea. Is Jamie in the house? Hello, APG Jamie. Hi, Tink. Hello, Tracy. That's a great idea. Yeah. That is a good idea. Have the top of your head peeking out. Boy, that is a good thing. Seems like I had a journal page I did that was along that same line, but it's been a while. Let me see if I can find it. Not the same. Actually, have a couple that might be similar. It's always amazing to me that I can ever put my hands on what I want. Let's see. I don't know. I've shown this before. That's all me from if you want to ever know how homely I was as a child, take a look at this picture. My sister had gone to beauty school, and so she practiced on me. And that was what I looked like when I went to get my hair done, or went to get my school picture done in 4th grade. Oi, 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 oi. Anyway, these are two great-grandmothers that I was named for. This is based on a map of my life, and so that's where that came from. This is kind of a little bit along that same line of all that stuff, all the stuff, that's in my head. It's kind of that same sort of thing. Hello, Jan. Let's see. This is a little, not the same, but it's a worthwhile thought process. The myths that I was taught or learned, not necessarily that I was taught, but ones I learned, and the truths that came from the myths. And so that's kind of an interesting exercise here. This was what I was thinking of. So this came from an old book of some kind. This was an image from an old book. And then I cut out this. This was from the old book. I think this was not. Anyway, I can't remember. It's been too long. Since 2013. No wonder I don't remember, for goodness sakes. But this is kind of what my head feels like a lot of times. And the various sections of, what goes on inside my head. But again, this is a good idea of, an overlay. That's just vellum. And this one doesn't come up. This one is attached down, but it's the same thing. It is vellum. And I don't know, can you see in there? Can you see the people? So the people images, I drew Zentangle designs all over so that it's muted by the vellum on top of it. And then I wrote stuff all around it, which I don't remember what I wrote. Most of the time when I do an art journal page like that, it's to get something out of me and to process it. And so then I move on. I don't remember what the purpose was or whatever, but this was interesting. No one thinks in your mind but you. Yeah. So anyway, those were the ones I was thinking about. A lot of this is just half-baked. A lot of it is half-baked. Anytime you see in my journal, as I'm leafing through, if you see a page that's blacked out like this, and this says, thank you, thank you, thank you, that's because there's a whole lot of garbage underneath that. Yeah. So, anyway, what else? I think that's all. But there's my cats. Again, these are hardly, none of this is finished. None of it. There are a few pages in here that are finished. Anyway, that's that. This one, let's see. It seemed like there was one in this one that was sort of along that same line. Yeah, this one. So in this is that same kind of idea where there's just all of this stuff, you know, all this stuff. And then there's something in here, which I don't even remember what it is, but, you know, some kind of message to myself. So that was in there. And this was an envelope from, it was a guest. I don't know if it was from Flowers or if it was on something. It was on something I bought. And, oh, the cover of that book, that is, this is my self-portrait, and this is from the self-portrait class in How to Get Creative. We did it in fabric. Let's see, we did it in fabric and paper, both, I think. Didn't we? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, similar kind of thing. This poor book has been so abused. Similar kind of thing. On this, you know, stay in peace, not in pieces. And this is another one. There's a whole bunch of stuff written underneath here. I was processing something. I remember that. You can kind of see it right in here. Can you see the writing? So I often do that. I do a lot of processing and then journal over the top of it. So I do that. This is one of my favorite pages. I really try to like tea as much as I like coffee. The truth is, I just don't. It has tea bags and tea bag papers and all of that. Hi, Karen. Yeah, talking right about you. We are talking about you, Karen. Okay, now don't start this nonsense. Do not start this nonsense with us here today. Because I don't want to have to fight you, camera. I don't want to fight you today. I still haven't, clearly, I have not changed out my camera. All right, hang on a minute. And we'll give it a timeout. Gonna give it a timeout while we have a little cuppa. So let's move this other journal out of the way. This one, underneath this, again, is written all kinds of stuff. This I did about my granddaughter. And often, Christy is her name. And often if I do an art journal page for somebody, I'll do it in my journal, then I'll take a picture of it or a copy of it and send to them. Yeah. But I love that. You are an extraordinary woman. How can you expect anything ordinary to happen to you? For sure. And this is one of my favorite lettering styles where, you know, it's kind of like the random ransom note kind of thing. Is it being abandoned or is it being set free? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. Nancy. That's a good idea about the candle. I just never get around to it. Just never get around to it for whatever reason. Apparently it's not important enough to me. This is another one there's a lot of writing under, and then this was a message to one of my grandchildren. This is another way that I process stuff. All right, let's see if the camera decides it's gonna cooperate with us. I'll turn it back on, put it in a timeout, see if it's gonna work. I'll do all my writing and then cut it all up, slice it all up. Wait a minute. Good grief. I am having equipment problems here today because I'm not paying attention. All right. So, you see what I did? And this is just, I dated it because I couldn't get it to show up, so I dated it on a piece of painter's tape and stuck it in there. So, you know, my journals are not precious. They're not precious. I like them, but they're not precious. Writing the half and halfway. I'm not sure what that is, Jamie. I'm not sure what that is. I've written all different directions on a page and then come back, and that was a card somebody sent me that was really nice. So nice. Harmony. I used to see her online, then I didn't see her for a long time. Now I'm seeing her online again. She's an amazing artist. Some of these are test pages. That's what this is. This was a test page for these backgrounds. Hey, Scotty. Here's another one that got boogered up. This came off on that. It's like, oh well, whatever. I get the pleasure of creating it. You know, that's what I get from the process, is I get the creation process, and that's what I need. So, yeah, these are all, this was a page about the aspens in Colorado, and these are all loose, but of course when you close the book, they get all smashed down. This was using some of Tim Holtz's cracked, what is that? Rock candy. That's what it is, I think. It's the clear crackle paste or something. Anyway, I don't know if they even have it anymore. Here's my favorite page probably of all time. The first law of holes. When you're in one, stop digging. This was junk. This piece here was the junk from cutting out those. And these are dried blobs of paint. That's what all of those are. Yeah. First law of holes. When you're in one, stop digging. Look, this is Charlie. Charlie. This is just a mishmash of junk. Yeah, that's my Charlie boy. I was trying to do, what was I trying to do? Image transfer. Didn't work. So I just took the thing I was trying to image transfer and glued it in the journal. And this says Wonder, in case you can't read it. Junk's the best. It really is. Greet each day with grateful hands and an open heart. This is another one I like. This has a lot of modeling paste on it and a whole lot of Inca Golds. I love hands, and you'll see hands in my work a lot. This is a tuck spot. There's supposed to be paper dolls in here, but they're living somewhere else at the moment. I don't know where, but they're living somewhere else. Find the way or allow a way. You know, a lot of my stuff has a like I said, something most everything is a process page for me, you know, where I'm processing something. Here's another one where I wrote around the edge, but this time it's probably a quote. Hi, Krissa. And then back as we get back in here, these are pretty much just experimental or things that are sort of here and there. This is my nephew, who is now in his 40s, this kid right here. And he would do stuff like that. He would do stuff like that. There was no reason for him to do that, but he sat on the step, he put this hard hat on, a pair of sunglasses, and stuck his feet into empty containers and sat on the step. So I think my dad took that picture. But is that funny? Just such a wacky kid. Such a wacky kid. So funny. And these were from my dad's, I don't know, can you see that? Where it says family and relatives. That my dad liked to take slides, the old Ektachrome, Kodachrome slides, and then he would label his tins of boxes. And this is the old, what is that? Turn the dial, squeeze it. Dyna. Anyway, somebody's going to know what it is. It's flipped out of my head. And all of this is the same thing. But that's the interesting tape, the actual tape. Yeah, it's the actual tape that was colored that way. I couldn't bring myself to throw those away, so I stuck them in my journal. I'm not sure what he's doing now. I think he was in broadcasting. They lived in China for quite a while, and he was doing journalism over there, but I'm not sure what he's doing now. I haven't seen him in a long time. This was a journal page we did on Stream at one point. These are woven strips of painted papers. Dymo, yeah, that's what it is. Dymo maker, Dymo labeler, or whatever it's called. Junk. Grateful is the doorway to abundance. So this is another little tuck spot. This was on Thanksgiving one year, and so I just sat down and I wrote about all the things I was grateful for that day and stuck them in my journal. This was from when we got an iPhone. See what it says on that tag? It says, hello. It's like, how can you not put that in a journal? You know what I mean? How can you not put that in a journal? And this is a picture of my son right here. I was playing around with scratching backgrounds and stuff. He is dressed up like Sam from Benny and June. And that's back when he was modeling. And everything on there, absolutely everything on there, except the watch that you can see in the vest pocket, everything in there came from a thrift store. Yeah, that was an adventure. That's a whole other story. A whole other story about the adventures of that. Anyway, and this page was a celebration of my dad's birthday one year when he was 102, and so that was what that was about. And this is some of it's junk. All this stuff in here, this is all stuff that was I found someplace. These were all things that my son wrote or drew when he was in church, when he was he was 3. And I just couldn't throw them away. It was vacation Bible school stuff. So what else do you do with it? You stick it in a journal, right? Stick it in a journal. Okay, so anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, let's do something. Hi, Shelly. So, Jamie, what was the right half and the half and half or whatever? Did you say it? If you did, I need you to put it in there again. I need you to put it in there again. because I missed it. Okay, so what we're going to do is turn the page, and the next page we have is one of these burlap pages. One of these burlap pages. These are not my favorite pages, but they do make me stretch a little bit. So, and I was going to show you these too. These I created last night. They're fabric collages. Yeah, I did a whole series on kid art. I think it's here on YouTube. It was some of my early stuff, taking children's, it was taking kids' art. Some of it was mine, some of it was my grandchildren's. Son. I don't know if I did any for my son. I mostly had things for my grandkids. And taking their drawings and images and stuff and turning them into art of some kind, translating them into canvases and jewelry and so forth. So, a quote that Becky just found: an apple a day keeps anyone away if you throw it hard enough. I like that. That's good. Anyway, so these are fabric collages, and they're just stuck together, and so I'm going to machine all over them with the sewing machine. So on the outside chance that we get this journal page done, I might do some stitching on that, but then again, highly unlikely. Hello, is it Hermie? Yeah, exactly, Jamie, of course. Ask the question and then just go on your merry way. Hi, Ann. Oh, is Marion here? Hello, Marion. I missed you. I missed seeing you. Anybody that I missed? Hermie? Okay. Welcome, welcome. Anybody that I missed saying hello to, I'm really glad you're here. Slurping down some coffee, people. Look at this. A clean brayer. Yeah, a poor brayer. It got a soaking bath for several days. A soaking bath. My palette paper, which is still sitting around waiting for something to be done to it. So we'll just paint on top of it. So I'm going to brayer a background over this. Trying to get to my paint. I'll be right back. Just trying to get some stuff here. Alright, so we'll just do these colors just because. Right, half on journal and half on scrap paper. I have not done that. Interesting. Debbie hasn't gotten her brayer down to the original surface yet. I do it every so often because honestly I can't stand having everything build up and be nasty. And also because of recording classes and stuff, you know, if I don't start out with supplies that are like the jelly plate, for example, if I don't start out with a plate that's relatively clean, and I get some really cool result, nobody can repeat it, right? So I try to always go back and start with clean supplies and relatively clean stencils, a relatively clean brayer, that kind of stuff. So when I'm recording a class, if somebody wanted to follow it step by step by step, they have a chance at actually replicating what I did. So anyway. Okay. So the colors I have picked out here, it looks like I have two that are the same color. Let's get a different one. Let's get a different one. Okay, there, I just need, yeah, snarky comments, that's right. Now, on my classes, I don't get snarky comments. It's only on the general YouTube page that I get snarky comments. Shocker. Shocker. All right. I'm going to take the cover off my journal. It doesn't really matter if it gets messed up, but you know, might as well try and keep it kind of nice. All right, Jamie, get a bite for us. Get a bite. All right, so I'm just putting a little bit of paint out here. The colors I'm using at the moment, we'll see if it works. Whitewash, sweet mint, and seafoam. 2 ceramic coats and 1 Americana. VIPs are angels, Marianne. They are angels. They are my angels. Talking about VIP members at the website. That's what we're talking about. All right, so let's, I'm just going to get a little bit of paint. I just want to give the background a little bit of interest. One of the challenges of working on the burlap or in a book like this, a bound book, is that you can't get over here very close to the edge. See, if it's important to you, you just kind of have to smash it over there, and then you get some on the other page. You go, oh well. Right? Oh well. All right. And so then I'm going to use some white. I've only thought about this in my head, you know. So I don't know if it's going to work or not. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Laura. No way, Laura. No way. That was the cutest darn video. Cutest video. She has a new kitten. Cutest kitten on record. Cutest kitten on record. You cannot, I'm telling you, if anybody's thinking out there about wanting to do videos, you have to have a thick skin. You cannot, and now I'm not saying they don't get to you sometimes. I'm not saying that. But man, you have got to have a thick skin. And you got to be able to, you got to learn real quick how to hide people or block them. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I love interacting with people, but I love interacting with people in a positive way, not, you know, not the other way. Okay, so good enough, good enough. Let's see. Let's go over to a different page. And see if we can just use up this paint, huh? Because whatever happens over there on that page, will, you know, it's just a head start, right? So how are you guys doing? Are you getting out yet? Hi, Nicole. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. What a cute name. Yeah, you have to have a thick skin and a sense of humor. Laura, Jersey Crafter Laura, I'm telling you, she had the best stream ever. This was a Saturday night. I don't know how long ago it was. Months. And she had some jackleg that was in her chat and was just, just an idiot troll, And Laura is so nice. She is so nice. She's so enthusiastic. She greets everybody. She is so pleasant. And she was trying to be nice to this person. And she wasn't reading. Was it the guy's name? Yeah, Dee Dee, don't email me. That's right. I'm just getting this paint off while the getting's good. I don't know. It seems like the guy's name, if you read it right, if you pronounced it, you had to read it in order to really get what the guy, was saying. He was such a pain. Oh my goodness. Hi, Malia. Anyway, it was so funny. So funny. Golly. And when Laura finally got it, I'm telling you, everybody in the chat was dying off laughing. And Laura still hadn't got it. And when she finally got it, I thought we were going to lose her. I thought we were going to have to call 911 just to pick her up off the floor. Linda McAllister. Well, where is my police? My pointer police for making sure I don't have my mouse over my face. Good for you to show up, Linda. Anyway, yeah, Laura will have to tell you about that stream. So all I've done is just take some of give the background a little more interest. So what I have here is I have some blurs. And pointer police, that's right. That's right. So I have some flowers here. This is my original drawing that was inspired by something, or somebody or a book or whatever. I don't know. And so then I put it in my my copier scanner thing, and I made some copies so that I would have some different sizes of images. This is the kind of page that I could fiddle around with for a really long time. We're going to try not to do that. We're going to try not... Hey, Mary. We're going to try not to fiddle around with it too long. But I'm sure I won't get it done today. I'm sure I won't get it done today. Okay, so I'm just going to make a pattern here. So what I've done is folded the paper in half, scrap paper. I'm just making a mess here today, Linda. Just making a mess. Just making a mess. You want to see how the elephant page turned out? May end up cutting this thing off the bottom, but here's how the elephant page turned out, Linda, just so you can see. Since you got here late, which is fine. But there it is, Linda. That's how it turned out. Oh, okay. Come on, camera. Here we go. I'm telling you, my camera's it must be going through the change, because I'm telling you, it is touchy. Touchy little camera. So anyway, that's how the page from last week turned out. Okay, so there you go. All right, back to this one. Yep, doodle doodle doo. All right, so what I have here is a pattern for a bowl, like a, I think it's too fat, so we're gonna skinny it up. Which is kind of like most of us who've gone through this experience from the last few months. Kind of all going, oh man. Anyway, I was watching or listening to a podcast that I've spoken about a few times called the True Crime Garage. If you like true crime, they're kind of interesting to listen to because they do keep it on a, they take a really crappy subject and they kind of make it interesting to listen to. Anyway, I was listening to them, and one of those guys is the kind of the straight man. The other guy is kind of the comic relief kind of person. And the straight guy is always street, serious. And he says, well, 2020, I don't even remember what the context was, but he says, and you think he's going to be serious about this. He says, well, 2020 so far, and he hesitated, and I thought, he's trying to figure out what to say, and then all of a sudden he says, just basically really sucked. Funny. Oh, funny. Oh, well, that was nice. Tell Beth I love her. I'll pay her later. If you're talking about me. Okay, so what we're going to do, I have some burlap here that I've had for a long time. I almost said something that was not a good thing to say. Thankfully, I caught myself. Anyway, so I thought what I would do is find something on here that's kind of close to the edge, maybe. Yeah, okay, let's do that. All right. So I'm going to fold it in half. This could be a trick, people. This could be a trick. And I'm going to put my pattern on here. And I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to see how this looks. I figure if it's a burlap page, it's probably got to have burlap on it, don't you think? This is a Dina Wakley Media Journal, by the way. And Dina says that she will rip those pages out and use them for other things too sometimes. Sometimes she makes pages on the burlap pages. I find them challenging personally. So we're going to put this away. Isn't that a cool burlap print? Yeah. I have plans to do a class about different things you can do with burlap. That class has been in the queue for quite a while. Because something else always takes precedence. The truth of the matter is, my attention just gets swept up with something else. And I go, oh, yes, let's do that. It's kind of like squirrel. Or, oh, that's shiny. Let's see what that thing is. All right, so let's see how this turns out. Do you like it, Laura, the lotus and the lily? I wasn't sure, for some people it's really out there. So I didn't know whether you liked it. I had suggested it to a couple of people. And yeah, anyway. Okay. So this is going to be a vase, or a vase if you prefer. Right? And then I have in my stash of crap, These are coffee sleeves from Starbucks that I've split. So it's the corrugated inside part of the coffee sleeves. And now watch, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then it won't work. But we'll give it a shot, because I happen to have one off my cup today. Hi, Mickey. Yeah, it's a lot of coffee. It is. It's my one treat of getting out of the house. Yeah, during this whole COVID thing. Fortunately, they have a kiosk inside our grocery store, so it's very convenient, and the grocery store is really close. Anyhoot, so I just pull off, where it's perforated, and then usually you can get a hold of it. Not always, but usually. Oh, cool, Laura. So once you get it started, usually if it gets, excuse me, if you can get it started, then normally it will just peel right apart like that. And then I use these for various art journaling things. Not art journaling, but journaling. Let's see if I can find one. See if I can find one to show you. I don't think there's one in that one. Maybe in this one? I don't know. Nope. All right, let's try this one. I've used them a lot, believe it or not, but can I find them? There, that's one right there. So that is this, okay. So that is started as this, okay. Let's see. Sorry, my throat is going crazy bananas today. I love these journals. This is my granddaughter. That's my granddaughter right there. She has long hair. She had it pulled back that day. She is adorable and such a sweetheart. And she works in the healthcare industry. So far she's done okay with no problems with the COVID thing. All right. This is the kind of stuff I do to keep myself sane. I know I have at least 2 other examples of these girls. I may not be able to... This is not Muppet, but that image looks so much like her. This dog right here looks exactly like that. That came from a magazine, but that looked so much like her. I had to cut it out and put it in my journal. I did. All right, one more shot at finding anything. There, that's another one. Okay, again, started like this. And then that's how that one turned out. Okay. Seemed like I had another one in here. Let's see. I can't find it. But anyway, that's why I saved those. And I also send them out to people because sometimes people can't get a hold of that. So anyway, that was a long rabbit trail. Okay, so what I thought we would do, first of all, I'm going to glue this down at least part of the way because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't. Maybe we should ink the edges first. What do you think? Let's just use some blue ink. That's what I have out. That could be it, APG. Maybe I think about using them and then I don't. I have several of them in journals, actually. I don't know where they are. I don't know. So I'm just using some blue ink just to go around the edge here, just so, again, kind of pop it up. Just so it'll pop it up off the background a little bit. That, as Jamie says, as APG Jamie says, that's more butter, right, Jamie? More butter. So I'm just going to tack this down. APG Jamie broadcast yesterday live. She only does it once a month, so man, you got to be there. You got to be Johnny on the spot. That's funny. She's married to Johnny. All right, so we're going to put this close to the bottom because we want to have enough room to arrange our fleurs in here. Well, Laura, you made it. You made it. All right, so all I want to do is just kind of stick this down. This is all loose up here. And I have wax paper behind this because these burlap pages, they're burlap. They're real burlap. And so what they do is they just leak right on through. So if you do any spraying or anything on these, you're going to decorate the next page too, which might be just exactly what you want to do. Hi, Patricia. Yes, Jamie did. She created a journal and she decorated the covers. She said maybe next time she would sew in the signatures. It's a great journal. It really is. It really is. And I'm not just saying that. Okay, so it's good enough. It's a vase of sorts. All right, so we have these, and so what I thought we would do, like you're here, right, is I'm going to use some of these. Let's use this one. It's big. Let's use this one. Oh, here are my scissors. I'm like, what did I do with the scissors? All right. Now, this is the kind of thing that can take you forever and a flippin' day. Okay, ever and a flippin' day. So we're only going to do maybe 3 of these. We'll do 3 big ones, and I'll come back and do some more later. I think these are the ones that are going to show the best, the big ones. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to just cut this apart. Okay, I'm just going to cut it apart. I have not done this before, so this might be an epic fail, you guys. Might be an epic fail. It's only an art journal. It is only an art journal. Do we care if it's an epic fail? No, we do not care. I'll put these over here so you can see them. We do not care because it is just something to play around with. If I cared how things turned out, I would stifle every bit of my creative spirit. And then I would be such a liar when I said to you, remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. I would be such a liar if I did that. It really is easy, but you have to give up control of the outcome. You know what I mean? Okay. So I have cut this flower up. Cut it apart, so I now have, this particular one has 4 petals. And you see how they have lines? The petals have lines, right? So I'm going to put this on here. And I'm going to let the corrugated part of this paper act like the texture of the petals. How about that for a good idea, huh? How about that? See? And this is thin. It's not like the having to peel a box apart where, you know, when you peel apart a box, it's like so thick and everything. And I showed you a journal a couple weeks ago that a friend of mine had done that she used corrugated. I'm going to call it corrugated cardboard, and I know that's not correct. And if Journal Artista were here, she would be correcting me. I know, because she worked in a box factory and she knew the particulars and what things were called. But you know, if you grow up with the phrase corrugated cardboard, man, it is stuck in your head, right? All right, so I'm just holding these with my fingers. Jamie's turning pissy pink. Hi, Lori. Marion, I have pinpointed your problem. Marion has done some of the most incredible fabrics and papers. I mean, she has done some great stuff. And then she admires it. Right, Marion? You tell him. Am I right? And we even had a challenge one time where I challenged her. She's one of the VIP members, and I challenged her the next month that she had to actually at least rip into. At least she had to rip into, I think it was fabric. It was beautiful. She was afraid she was going to ruin it. You got to take that chance. You got to take the chance. It's okay if you ruin things. You know, some of my ruined things in air quotes, turn out to be the best things I ever did. They just didn't match my expectation. All right, so there's those flower petals. So let's use another copy of this. So I have a kind of have a shot at reassembling this little flower, just because, kind of using it as an example. See, it's this way it is. Yeah. And this one kind of goes like, kind of like this. And maybe this one will have to go like this. So anyway, little 4-petal flower. See? But I thought that doing that on top of the burlap background would be fun. Laura, you are so much a leader, whether you want to be or not. So anyway, all right, so there's a flower. So let's take another flower. We'll take another flower. You didn't rip into that fabric? Marion, what am I going to do with you? She says, shaking her head. Marion, and you promised, you broke a promise to me because you promised you would tear into it. You promised. So anyway, this kind of stuff, if you edit videos, you edit out. That's probably one of the main criticisms that you get as a streamer. People get real testy about you wasting their time. Wasting their time. I had one person one time tell me that their time was valuable and I had wasted an entire hour and whatever of their time. I had wasted that much of their precious, valuable time. Who was sitting there watching? Who had a gun to their head? Wasn't me. Who tied them to the chair? Well, that was an hour and a half of her life she couldn't get back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I'm just trimming these out. And the only reason I'm being this picky is just to show you how you can take a pattern from something. If you wanted to exactly replicate it, you could. And this is just one way to do it. That's kind of easy, right? Kind of easy. All right, let's cut these puppies apart. All right, so we've cut those apart. So let's go for another piece of this stuff. No, I don't want that. This, actually, let me show you. This is cardstock. Okay, this is craft colored cardstock. And I ran it through, this is my tube squeezer that I have had since the 70s when I was painting with oil paints. And the poor thing has been around the block and a half and back. There. And so you can open this up and you can put a piece of, this is not what it's meant for. It's meant to squeeze paint tubes to get the last little bit of paint out. But you can, it also works to crimp paper. Fiskars has a tool that actually does that. It actually crimps the paper. I have one I bought for $1 somewhere. And I tried to use it today because it's wider and you can get, you know, longer strips of paper. And I don't know. I think I know why it was $1 because it didn't work worth a bean. Anyway, this is cardstock, and once it's crimped, it has got some strength to it, some thickness. Where these are very pliable. So I'm going to use these coffee sleeve things. Yeah, it is. It's fun. It was important to squeeze tubes back in when I was learning to paint with oils. Those tubes of oil paint were expensive, man. Not every color was expensive, but some of them were so expensive. And especially with landscape painting. Think of Bob Ross type stuff, only it was different than Bob Ross, but kind of sort of that idea, you know, big quantities of paint, which is great for the paint companies. But holy moly, you could blow through some paint as long as it was colors like burnt umber and white and stuff like that. It was okay, but man, if you got into blues and reds and some of those other ones, whew. So that tube squeezer was an essential part. It saved me more money because I could squeeze every drop of paint out of those tubes, let me tell you. Okay, so let's throw this one on here. There's some writing on here, so I'm kind of avoiding that. kind of avoiding that. And I'm going to kind of reshape this petal a little bit. We kind of got the idea of how this might work. In my head, it's already done and it works perfectly. Perfectly. Right? Perfectly. Bring back the tea. Perfectly. They're still out of sight expensive. Yeah, it hadn't gotten any better, has it? Tubes of paint have not gotten any better. If you don't believe it, you just go buy decent watercolor tubes. Hoo-wee. Yeah, you go buy watercolor tubes of watercolor. The good stuff, like the genuine watercolors. That's why I'm not a watercolor person. Yeah, I am not a watercolor person. It's like, well, first of all, we have to know our strengths. We have to know our strengths. Guess what one of mine is not? Watercolor. My idea of watercolor is a set of Prang Kids watercolors, or the Low Cornell from Michaels. Yeah. And anybody that's a bona fide watercolor person rolls their eyes right back in their head right about now. Okay, so there's that. Okay, let's put this little flower together. Put this flower together. So let's find a copy of it. Okay, I think it was, which one was it? This one, I think. So let's see if we can reassemble this flower. Shall we? All right, start with one that's identifiable. Maybe that one. And then maybe this one. And maybe this one. And this one slides under there, and then this one kind of goes like that. Okay? So you can see that the shapes of this flower and this flower, you can actually replicate them pretty decently. Hi, Sophia. Hi, Janice. So you can hi, Teresa. So you can kind of replicate those. So let's do one more. Let's do this sideways flower. This one, which is sideways. That is the center of the flower. So let's do this one. So we'll just put 3 blooms on here today and call it a day. So a little bit of the center of this flower is peeking through this. This is you're looking at a petal that's flipped up here. Sometimes it's hard to tell, you know. That was one of the challenges. Flowers were one of the things I really enjoyed learning how to paint when I was doing oil painting. And when I say oil painting, I'm talking about decorative painting. But I learned to do decorative painting before the days of acrylic paint. I know. Yes. That long ago. And that was one of the things I really loved to learn how to paint and did paint. Were the flowers. But often it was, once I could see, as Barbara Gray says on Clarity Stamp, she says, get your eye into it. And I know exactly what she's talking about. You have to get to a point with whatever the thing is that you actually see what you're doing. Okay? Which may sound really funny and might not make any sense. But I remember there was this wasn't a flower, but we were doing a replica of the girl from the Morton Salt box. And she had, her dress was blowing in the wind. And see if this will fit on here. Will you fit on there? I think you will. So her dress was blowing in the wind, but it had some pleats in it. Some pleats in the fabric. And I'm telling you, when I was learning how to do that, I was trying to follow the directions, and I could not, my eyes would not see the pleats in the fabric. They just absolutely would not. And, you know, and she kept saying, this is the part that, this was the teacher, this is the part that is the inside part of the pleat, and this is the part of the pleat that is rolling over, going, you know, going down into the pleat. And I'm telling you, my eyes could not, just could not see it. And I kept working at it, and one day when I was painting and going, you know, trying to finish the thing, trying to get the homework done, because of course with oil paint, it took forever and a day to dry, and so you had to so I'm just looking here. So because it, you know, because these were bona fide oil paints, these were not the quick dry or any of that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, when I was doing it, I saw the pleat. And I'm like, it was like my eyes finally focused in on the fabric, and I could see what it was that I was trying to accomplish. It was like magic. But boy, up until then, it was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. There's nothing about this that makes any sense whatsoever. Yeah, it took me. Okay, where is this? Hold on a minute. I gotta. Okay, this goes in here like this. Okay. I know I'm rattling on, but I'm trying to rattle while I'm doing something. All right. So how's everybody doing today? You guys doing okay? I hope you are. Have you been out of your house and are you beginning to move around yet? Depending on what your area of the world you're in. We seem to all be on different timetables. And our area is experiencing another increase in outbreak. Hello, Lynn. So, I'm not too anxious to get out and roam around, to tell you the truth. Like, you know what? I have got a metric ton of stuff to do at home, so I think I'm just going to stay home and do what I do. And you better not go out and sneeze or cough, or people think you're trying to kill them. Yeah, I think you're trying to kill them. Like, I promise I'm not. I just have some allergy things going on this year that I haven't had in forever. Okay, so this flower here is the one we're doing, is this one right here, right? So let's put this up here and put this one behind, and this one will come in here like so, and this one will come in like so. Let's see, by having the corrugated ups and downs. How do you like that? Ups and downs. The peaks and valleys of the paper. It gives you the direction, gives you kind of the texture of the petals. So it's kind of fun, don't you think? It's kind of fun. Oh, I can only imagine, Lynn. Or Jean. Yeah. Whew. Tell you what, it is warming up in my studio space today. Okay. So let's, I'm going to move these flowers, these petals over, just kind of keeping the petals kind of together. And there's my little vase that I made up. I always call them vases, but you know. And so I'm going to ink around the petals a little bit. Because why not? Because why not? It's just, Michigan's doing well. That's good. Hello, Nancy Barney. It's a really crazy thing, isn't it? It's a really crazy thing. All right, so I'm going to give these a little bit of ink around the edge just because. And of course, if you wanted to, we'll use an extra piece of the corrugate paper. If you want to, you can even give them more texture by just rubbing over the top. And then you can, you know, colorize the petals too. I'm just going to go around the edges. And this is just to pop them away from the background a little bit because the background is kind of brown. It's kind of brown. Yes, it is. Let's see how that immediately lifts them up off the edge, off the paper, off the background, whatever I'm trying to say. Gracious. Do you ever get like that where you just like lose the language that you're trying to use? Like, where did my words go? Where did my words go? They have, it's like Elvis, they have left the building. Whew. Yeah. So anyway, there's our one little thing there. All right, let's do these. So, tell me what you guys are doing to keep yourself, because you can't just how do I say this? If you have been an active person where you've been out and about and then you get suddenly shut down, what have you done to deal with being closed in or what have you? Now, if being at home is your regular thing, which is mine, it is my thing, then it still was an adjustment. Still was an adjustment. But not as much as for some people, you know, who were out, you know, working away from home or, you know, that kind of thing. I'm going to tell you, I am so grateful I am not a caregiver right now. And trying to take care of my parents. Ugh. Can't even imagine how difficult that is for people who are having to try to do that. Noeet's making more videos. Noeet is a video making factory over there. Mama is learning. Mama, are you Sherry? Her son says she corrupted her noun file. No kidding. Yeah, having hubby home since March. Yeah. I think it's tested a lot of relationships, and different people handle things in their own way, and sometimes it's really challenging, isn't it? Really challenging. But a lot of people are interested, find interesting ways to work around it. And thankfully, there is the internet and the ability to spend time with other people, and you can continue learning things, you can continue meeting with people, even if it's virtually. Ooh, walking up and down the hallway. Bless your heart, Sophia. Bless your heart. Can't even imagine doing it with little kids. Okay. So we're just going to work with these 3 flowers. I may come back and put a couple of smaller ones in later, but we're just going to play with these 3. So and Becky's doing sewing and quilting. Jan took part in the virtual choir. Cool. What's his name? Eric Whitaker? Is that right? That's cool. All right. That's just to get rid of the inky things there. Okay, so let's just move this little flower up here, and we'll move this one down here a little bit. We'll call it good. We'll call it good. All right, we need some stemmage. We need some stemmage. Let's see if we can make some stems. Now, these are not going to be exactly real looking stems. They're going to be fat, but that's okay. These aren't real looking blooms either. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, then I'll stick that down inside the vase, and let's see what else we can do here. I'm going to have to go the other direction because this is a big long flower here. So we'll give it a slightly more interesting shape. You know, I do, Sophia, but guess where it is? It's in with the quiet felines. Okay, that one will work okay. This one may not need a stem. Yeah, it's in there with the quiet cats at the moment, so guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to go in there and bother them. Because going in there and bothering them raises all kinds of other issues. Like, I want to come out there with you. I want to come out there with you. No, you can't. I want to come out there with you. I want to. They are holding it. They are. Absolutely. Linda's knitting. Oh, that's cool. Tuesday night virtual dinner with friends. Cool. Good ideas. Debbie's cleaning up. Good for you. Well, they would be all strung up in there if I left it out where they could get a hold of it. One day I came in here in the studio, and I have a roll of paper towels always somewhere, usually a couple rolls. And I had a roll of paper towels that was probably, that's a lot of paper towels on there, right? And I had that on the floor because, as I've explained to you before, these two, especially one of them, is a notorious puker. And I'm just cutting some leaves here. Anyway, I came in here and the roll of paper towels met me. My studio door, I know you have no concept of where this is, but those of you who have had a virtual tour of my creative space know that the place where I am right now is a fairly good sized room. And then there is a foyer, because this used to be an apartment where my mother lived with us. And then there's a foyer, and then you get into our house, right? And the house proper. And then there's a bathroom, and then this room back here was her bedroom, which is my sewing room. And then you can go outside. Well, anyway, the door that goes, we have a door that closes the studio away from the house. And so as I came into the studio this day, the roll of paper towels met me at the door. And it was like a path. I had pictures of it for a while. I don't know if I still have them on my camera or my phone or not. But the roll of paper towels, it was like following the yellow brick road, except it was white paper towels. And it was shredded here and there. And he doesn't even have claws in his front feet. Neither one of them do. They have claws in the back feet, but not the front. And all I had was this mass of paper towels that is like, well, I just gather them all back up because I'm not going to throw those away, And they went out of the foyer into the kitchen area, then in here where I am, and then the bathroom. They had made it into the bathroom, and I don't think he'd ever gotten it clear into the sewing room. Yeah. Those two, especially Chance. Charlie does a lot of watching because he's too fat. He's fatter than Chance, believe it or not. But Chance, oh my goodness. Chance, he will, he can do some stuff. He can do some stuff. What are some other things he's done? Oh, he will get, I have a container. It looks like a toolbox, but it's wooden, that has all different kinds of paintbrushes in it. It's not my regular paintbrushes, but it's like, sponge brushes, foam brushes, and brushes for painting on fabric and stuff like that. And I have that on a shelf, but over under a table. I came in here one day, and he had taken all of the foam brushes out of that and strung those around. He also likes the chip brushes from the hardware store, which are in the same thing. So he will get those out periodically, and he will play with those like it's a mouse. And so he'll toss them in the air, and then he'll throw them with his foot, and then he'll go chase them, and then he'll pick them up, and he'll shake them, and then throw them. I mean, sometimes I come in here and I'm like, oh, it's like clean up on aisle 6, Sometimes it's cat stuff, and sometimes it's just he's had his way with my stuff. Oh, he's just hysterical. Having cats is like having toddlers in the house. It's true. It is true. I call too much stuff, Nancy. That's right. Anyway, so they are, they are what they are. And I wouldn't know what to do without them, but sometimes I just have to bellyache about them, because some of the stuff they do, oh my goodness, funny. There was, I don't know, I think I've told this a few times, but there was the one day I wanted them to go outside, you know, because they're indoor cats, and I thought, oh, it's just so awful that they never get to go outside, and so I wanted them to go outside, and we have a deck off of the studio space, and so I thought, well, I'll take them out. And they were fine. You know, they'd go outside and they were fine. They would come out on the deck, and they'd never been outside in their whole lives, and they just thought that was the best thing ever in the whole wide world, was to go outside. They loved it. And they would just look around. They would just look around. We have a fenced-in backyard, and they would just look around, and it was great. Until the day came that Chance, as you saw how fat he is, and he decided this one particular day that he decided that he was going to see what was on the other side of the fence. And I could not even believe how fast that cat scaled the back fence. And he was over on the other side in the neighbor's yard, and this neighbor does not care for us very much because he doesn't like Muppet. And I'm like, oh no. I mean, it was like the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever, because I'm like, what am I going to do? Because he's now in their, pardon me, in their bushes and trees on the other side of the fence that goes through, you know, that separates our yards. Chance is on the other side of that fence in their trees and bushes, going in his best Siamese voice, going meow, meow, and he's like, and it's getting more and more panicky because now he's somewhere that he doesn't know where he is, and so what's he gonna do, you know? And so he's panicking, and I'm like, oh no, the cat, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So Claus Man was home, so I went in and got him, and I said, we're going to have to rescue Chance because he climbed the fence. I mean, he climbed and jumped over so fast, I couldn't believe that fat cat. Up and over. Up and over. There he was on the other side of the fence. And of course, he's the more skittish of the two cats. And so, you know, we had to be really careful that we didn't scare him, spook him, so he'd go, you know, running off somewhere. I'm telling you. So, okay, get a picture of this. Claus Man goes and gets 2-step stool ladder type things, right? 2. Because we had to make it like one of those things that's called, what's it called, a stile. So, you know, like they'll use them for cattle fields and stuff like that, or horses or whatever. So they'll put steps on one side of the fence and steps on the other side of the fence, so you as the human can go up the steps and over the fence and down, but the livestock can't. And so now we're having to, you know, pick a part of the yard, because we're also trying to do this without the neighbor knowing. And so we put the steps, you know, far away from the cat, so we have one stool and then another stool on the other side. And before he did that, he had a shovel out there, because we had a space under the fence where the cat could come through if he wasn't so fat. And so he has to scoop out, you know, more dirt, because now Chance is on the other side of the fence going, I can't, it's too tall, I can't possibly, because I'm calling him and talking to him. He's like, no, I can't, it's too high. So anyway, Claus Man has dug out under the fence, so we now have a hole big enough that the cat could fit under, but he won't come under. Even though I'm sticking my hand, I'm putting my hand under the fence and doing this, he's coming over and rubbing his head on my hand. But he won't come through. Treats won't lure him, nothing. So anyway, we have the steps on either side of the fence, and so Claus Man is now scaling the fence, going over the fence, you know, down the other side. And now he's trying not to scare the cat, because we want, if we're going to scare the cat, we want to scare him back under the fence, not, you know, going bloody murder somewhere else. Oh, Anyway, yeah. It was an adventure. The adventure of the Siamese cats. He is just such a pain. Hi, Deborah. Oh, he's such a pain. He's such a pain. Anyway, what does he do? He eventually gets terrified because now, the big bad human is coming after him. And so he runs, down the fence. And fortunately, he ran to my hand and he ran under the fence and he came back home. And all I could see is this gray streak with this gut going like this, just wagging like mad, as he's running. Because, he can run pretty fast for a fat cat, but that gut, that belly is just a wagging back and forth and back and forth. And he gets up on the deck, and I always prop the door open so that they could come home. Come home, lassie, come home. And he shoots in here, and by the time I got back up on the deck and in the house, he's made it about 3 feet inside the door, and he's laying on his side. And these cats are long, man. When they stretch out, they are so long. And so he must be 3 feet or more long when he stretches out. He's stretched all the way out, the tip of his tail, his feet are all stretched out, and he's like, the day I've had, you just don't know how horrible my day has been. I'm like, you rotten cat, you better so mind your P's and Q's, and you better not be doing any puking tonight. Let me just tell you, I'm going to put you back out there. I'm telling you, he's like, oh goodness. Yeah, such is life in my household. So now we still go outside. I know I didn't learn my lesson, did I? We still go outside, but now what I do is Chance is scared of Muppet, the dog. She's scared of this, okay? She's scared of him, of her. He is scared of her. So what I do is I take her out in the backyard with me, because we call her Constable Muppet, because she patrols. She patrols, and if anything is out of place, she will bark it, or she will, whine about it. Most of the time she barks. When she goes out on the deck, the first thing she does is all the hair on her back stands up. Her tail goes up. There's nothing out there to bother her. It's her backyard. She's lived here. By the way, she's 12. Chance is 13 and Charlie's 14. Somebody asked me what their ages were. So she's lived here since she was 8 months old. So nothing has changed. Nothing. But she goes out there and she struts, We call her Constable Muppet because she struts out there and she looks as big as she can. She raises all that hair up. And so what she does is she'll go out and lay in the yard. And she does this all by herself. And so then I take the cats out with me. And Chance will absolutely not leave the deck. He won't go off the steps. He won't do anything because he's scared of that dog. So she patrols the yard and it's all good. Anyway, I bet you guys were just so thrilled to come here and listen to the adventures of the Owen cat, the Owen menagerie, huh? Okay, so let's play with this a little bit, shall we? Let's play with this a little bit. All right, let us, I'm going to start. You just got to start somewhere. You start somewhere. So I'm going to use 3-in-1. Just because. Why am I using 3-in-1? Just because. So I'm just going to stick this down. Okay? And get off of there. All right. Yeah, such excitement around here, I'm telling you. But Constable Muppet, thank goodness she takes her job very seriously, and I do mean very seriously. She is something else, that dog. She is something else. She's like, nobody move, nobody move, nobody move. And I mean nobody move without my permission. She got us in trouble with animal control a few years ago. She hadn't been here very long. And the people, we're pretty sure it's the neighbors behind us, called. The animal control wouldn't tell us, but they were not happy with her bark. And I'm like, oh, seriously, she's just a dog. Anyway, so we couldn't leave her out in the backyard anymore, you know, because she does take her job so seriously, you know, that she must patrol and tell everybody what's what. And the lady behind us likes to, she likes to sit on the deck, and she has a very, very loud voice. I mean, her voice rivals Muppet's bark any day of the week. Any day of the week, that woman's voice rivals Muppet. She can sit on the deck, on her deck, and she can talk on the phone. And I mean, we're not that close to each other, and I can tell you everything that her conversation has involved. Absolutely everything her conversation has involved. And that just sends Muppet into a tizzy. It's like, you are not supposed to be talking, you are not supposed to be talking, you're bothering me, you're bothering me. She will bark, that lady. Oh, I can't say that I blame her too much. But anyway, I know, people control, isn't that the truth? Call the people control. Okay, so you kind of see where I'm going, right? Kind of see where I'm going here. And then, let's see. What I'm going to do is, I'm probably going to regret doing this now, but oh well. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Nothing, yeah, isn't that what it is? Where is my baby wipe? Here we go. You got to keep the lid on this 3-in-1s, just like Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, Fabri-Tac, whatever. Anyway, so this is black paint. And that'll give us our center of our flower. And then when that's dry, I'll come back in and I'll add at least another color, you know, because this is getting bloody boring here. Brown and black. Oh, I appreciate Tim Holtz, but honestly, I don't know how he does only brown and black. Or brown. 14 shades of brown. Okay, so let's move these petals off here just a smidge. Let's see how we want this. Okay, you're gonna have to come off here for a minute. See, this is kind of stuff, I'm not kidding you, I can mess around with this kind of stuff for hours and hours and hours. That's why I can never get a journal page done on during a stream, because I can do this forever. Oh, you like how I made the leaf fold over? Yeah, not bad. I should have shaded it a little bit more, but you know. Is what it is, right? Is what it is. All right, stick this in here. And give it a little direction, like so. Now don't put your hand in this. She says, trying to remind herself not to put her hand in it. Yeah. Don't put your hand in that. I'm telling you, some days it is. Fun to be me. Okay, let's send this one kind of this direction. We'll face this direction. Yeah. What do you think? Are you having fun? Remember, my Muse like brown. There you go. I'll tell you. I like brown, but I like colors better than brown, actually. Tell you the truth. All right. There's nothing wrong with brown. Nothing wrong with brown. Nothing wrong with brown. I used to wear a lot of brown until I discovered red. Then I went, oh, where's this been all my life? I really like red. Tomato red. I made a dress for myself out of, it actually was polyester, but it was an expensive, nice polyester. This was back when I was just getting into really fine fabric sewing. I had learned how to tailor and stuff when I was a kid, literally a kid, and I loved it, absolutely loved learning how to tailor. But then I bought a high-class sewing machine, and I started hanging out at the sewing. The dealer also carried imported fabrics and stuff, and I started getting into really nice. All right, I got to think here for a minute. Okay, turn loose, turn loose. Trying to get this pedal in here. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself together here. Okay, good enough. All right, you can get back down there now. So anyway, I bought this really nice polyester fabric. I mean, back then it was like, I don't know, $12 or $15 a yard or something. I mean, it was expensive fabric for polyester, but it was beautiful. And I was going to make myself a red Christmas dress. And back then I was teaching piano lessons, and so I would teach. Of course, you had to teach piano lessons after school, you know, because kids were in school all day. Yeah. Marion used to wear a lot of black until she got a cat. Shed, like, yeah, for real. Okay, let's put this flower on here. Let's see if I can put this back of the way, kind of the way it was. I actually can follow a train of thought all the way through something, but I often get sidetracked as I'm trying to get something accomplished here. Anyway, so I was going to make this dress for Christmas, and I mean, I had color matched the thread, and it was, you know, everything was so beautiful. And I was teaching piano, and while I would teach, our son would he would stay in my laundry room. We had a portable TV in there, and he would stay in there because it was close to where I was, but yet he could watch TV and all that and not be too far away from me. And so I'm readjusting things. Okay. So anyway, my sewing machine was in the laundry room where he was, and I had a brand new came with the sewing machine seam ripper, sharp. Oh man, that thing was deadly. It was so sharp. And I finished up. I had cut out this dress, and I was gonna sew it that night. I mean, I was so looking forward to this dress because it was gonna be so perfect, right? And everything was gonna match and be gorgeous and yada yada yada. So anyway, I went in there that night after he'd gone to bed. Thank goodness he'd gone to bed. I would have killed him, I'm sure. And he had taken this fancy little seam ripper, okay? This fancy little sharp as nails, razor blade sharp. And I had this spool of thread, and he had taken it and he had run it down the spool of thread. So all the thread shredded off in 1-inch lengths. He hadn't done anything to the fabric or the dress, but he had worked over everything else. And then he turned all the dials, and thankfully everything could be put back the way it was. But he had turned all the dials. He'd explored the way all the things turned, and you know how far you could turn something, and you know he had turned everything as far as it would go. And oh, he had entertained himself royally that afternoon. And his dad is saying, don't be too hard on him. Don't be too hard on him. I'm like, if it was your tools, what do you think you'd say? Anyway. Yeah. That's race, in case you didn't know. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The dress was really pretty though. It was really pretty. And I did wear it for a long time. Pretty red dress. Had to go buy another expensive spool of thread because that little brat. Ugh. The little brat. Yeah, the little brat. The one thing about working with this glue is it dries shiny. So if you end up with it on a surface like this, which is a very matte finish, and it dries, you're going to have a clear, you know, in your face kind of thing going on. So we're going to throw this leaf down here. I know all I'm doing is just rattling on, but I can't watch the chat and do this at the same time. APG Jamie can attest to that. Right, Miss Jamie? Okay, so we got a leaf that's hanging out here. Like so. And we're going to stick these little leaves up here. It is impossible for me to watch the chat and accomplish something at the same time. So I end up just rattling, telling the, you know, whatever comes into my head, then I start talking. Sometimes I can get in trouble with that. Sometimes I can't leave a stream live because some of the things I say, it's like, oh no, I can't say that. Hot Sun is right. That is exactly who we're talking about. Hot Sun. When you got a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, and you know, multiple cameras and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it is and then you're trying to interact with the chat. Sometimes you just like, it's no wonder when this is over with I go take a nap, I'm telling you. Right? Go take a nap, man. So after the black dries, I think I'll come in here with another color, as I said, just to kind of give it something other than black and brown, and then I'll figure out what to do after that. I don't know what I'm going to do after that. That may be all that ever gets done to this. It could be all that ever gets done. Although I'll probably have to give it some space, you know, table. Gotta give it something to sit on. Because if you don't, the poor thing will just float. That would be bad news, wouldn't it? Okay, that's enough. Okay, so we're going to call it a day. And since Chance has already been out here, I'm not going to bring them out again. And Charlie is asleep in there, and so we're not going to go dragging him out. So anyway, that is, you know, how one way that you can recycle your trash. You know, take the back part of coffee sleeves, you know, peel them apart. I like to peel things apart, see what you can, how many layers you can get out of them. Like I do with the cards, you know, like I do with my cards, peel them apart, and then you can use all parts of them. And then just take some flowers and make them different sizes, cut them apart, and use the cut aparts as your pattern, and then just play. And I'll probably put a quote over on this side, something about, I'll probably add some stenciling or something, I don't know. I make myself not put much on this facing page because I want the emphasis to be on whatever this is over here. Yeah, okay, I think I got the paint mostly off my hands. So anyway, you like that? Oh, thanks, Dorothy. It's fun. It's fun to do. Just something different. So thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see how it finishes up. Come back next week, and that way you'll get to see what it looks like. Thanks for indulging me with stories and whatever. I'm sure some of you have heard them umpteen times. That was one of my mother's favorite words, was umpteen. I don't know how many umpteen is, but it's a lot. You know, it's all those things that you swear you're never going to say. You know, I'm never saying these things. That was one of them. I'm never going to use the word umpteen. Yeah, guess what? I wouldn't end up able to hold up that end of that promise to myself. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend. I will be back here, hopefully, next Friday, same time, same station, same place. And until then, as always, remember to get creative today, because you know it is easy. I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.